This week is the 45th anniversary of a number of events. One of those events that we just did was at Northgate High School. It was one of the places that my uncle debated John Briggs. For those of you who don't know, this was Prop 6. It was a proposition that would have banned LGBTQ teachers and supporters of LGBTQ people from teaching in the public school system. You know, this is 45 years ago, and where are we today? My uncle would have reminded us that we still have a battle. And by remembering history, we hope not to repeat all those elements of history. So I was so proud on Monday to see at Northgate High School thousands of young people who came out, who knew the story of my uncle, and who told me that they believed that my uncle took those bullets for them personally. He absolutely did. When he wrote those prophetic words, "Let the bullets that smash through my brain destroy every closet door," that was for all of us. That was for me, his young gay nephew at the time, no longer young. It was for the non-binary kid. It was for the corporate executive that hasn't come out yet. And it was for anyone who faced any reason to put on a mask. So the battle continues. 2 years ago that we had the christening ceremony for the U.S. Navy ship Harvey Milk. Now, let me tell you why that's important. So we worked very hard on taking down Don't Ask, Don't Tell, which said that if you were gay or lesbian or bisexual or transgender, you basically had to, if you were asked, you would lie and say I wasn't, and you wouldn't tell anyone. It's like the most dishonorable thing you could do and ask people to do by law in our most respected occupation in the military. So when we took down Don't Ask, Don't Tell, all that meant, it was great, but it meant we now tolerate LGBTQ people and be authentic. But they've now named a ship, and the 2,000 men and women who are going to serve on the U.S. Navy ship Harvey Milk will tell the story of someone who was dishonorably discharged because they were gay. Now, I'm going to give you an inside story. When they announced the naming of the ship at Treasure Island, it got more press than any ship naming in the history of the U.S. Navy, more global press. Everyone was there, from the BBC to the Australian News to the South Africa Times to India. Everybody was covering this story. And I got a call the day before from Secretary Mabus, who said, "Stuart, you know, we now allow family members to have dishonorable discharges reversed. And we'd like you to do that before the naming ceremony." And I said, you know, with all due respect, I think it's more important that we have this ship and that the Navy, for the first time ever, has a ship named after someone who was dishonorably discharged because of who they are and because of their authenticity. And that's a greater teaching lesson. So thank you, but no thank you. So I can tell you that the secretary was not thrilled with that. And I got a phone call about 2 hours later from the White House switchboard. "Mr. Milk, we've got President Obama on the phone for you." I had the pleasure of working with President Obama on a number of events, including my uncle's induction into as a Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient, which I accepted on his behalf. In 2009, the issuance from the White House of the Harvey Milk postage stamp, lots of different events. We had Harvey Milk Champion of Change Awards issued at the White House. So it was a great honor to get a call from him the day before this naming ceremony. And he said, "Stuart, I want you to do me a big favor. I want you to reverse the dishonorable discharge of your uncle. And it's very important that we do that." I'm not good at imitating his voice, but it's very important that we do that and set a stage for hope. And I said, "Well, with all due respect, President Obama, I can't do that." And I went through the same reasons as I told the secretary. I think it's critically important that we teach that our institutions can be flawed, that our laws can be flawed, that our history needs to be taught, that we had deprived people of their basic rights. We are not, the family is not going to do that. And all I heard was click. I even called back my contact at the White House, I said, oh, I was disconnected from the president. I said, no, you weren't disconnected. So let me tell you about the naming ceremony as my close for today, because it's important of why the christening. So when this ship was christened 2 years ago, and it's still, by the way, in its sea trial, so it takes a long time for a ship that size to operate. When we had the naming ceremony, we got letters and emails and phone calls from around the world. One particular one I want to share with you, and I have permission to. It was a young 14-year-old named Khalil, who was in Kuwait. He said, Mr. Milk, I had planned my suicide because I didn't want my parents to have to kill you. You see, I'm gay, and it's very common in my country for the family to do an honor killing for anyone who comes out, and that happens to be true. Not only that, it's illegal and punishable by death in Kuwait to be gay, but I want you to know that I have put aside those plans. And I'm sitting here in the port in Kuwait, waiting for the US Navy ship Harvey Milk to arrive, and for them to teach the people of my country and my culture the importance of who I am. Wonderful meaning behind these type of legacy traditions. And by the way, Khalil is now 20, and he is thriving, and we got him out of Kuwait, and he is doing work with the Muslim community on LGBTQ acceptance. Everybody here, thank you for remembering my uncle's legacy. Please know that our battles are ongoing. The world is a very dark place for many members of our community. We went this year from 72 countries where it's illegal to be LGBTQ to 73. We went from where it's punishable by death in 17 countries to 18, when Uganda instituted the death penalty as one of the penalties for simply being who you are, for being openly gay. And so we have a lot of work to do in the world, and we are globally connected. If the wars that are going on today don't show you that we're globally connected, I don't know what will, but my uncle certainly knew that, and he would talk about things globally. So my final close is at the event that we just did at Northgate High School. The Bay Area Press were asking me if my uncle, if the family would have ever believed that my uncle could have seen a day like today, where here you have an openly gay member of Congress, we have openly gay cabinet members, we have openly gay sports figures, so many members here in the community that live their life authentically, including our allies that are with us today. And my answer is always the same. I'm not sad that my uncle didn't get to see today, because what gave him the courage to face the death threats that he got every single day, what gave him the courage to face those bullets, was that he dreamed of today. He saw today. He saw each one of you living your lives unmasked, authentically, and celebrating who you are. Thank you for allowing my uncle to see today, to dream today, and for making his dream come true.